Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to walk you guys through how I borrow money for free. Part of my business model is to be able to go out and secure funds in order to be able to invest in assets that create more income. One of the ways I do that is through real estate. I also do it through luxury watch sales, stock market investing, and my eBay stores. Now, all four of those streams of income I support and finance through borrowing money at no cost. And today I'm going to walk you guys through the business model I use in order to make that happen. Now, for me guys, debt is nothing more than a tool to create money and to create wealth. Now, in order to take debt and to be able to create wealth and create money, you need to understand leverage. And leverage is simply borrowing money at a fixed cost and then turning around and taking that money and investing it into an asset like real estate and earning more money on the real estate asset than your cost to borrow the money. For example, I go to the bank and I borrow $100,000 at 4% fixed rate. I take that $100,000, put it in real estate, and I get a 10% return on that money. So I got a 10% return by investing the $100,000 that I borrowed, but I also then have to pay the lender or the bank 4% to borrow the money. So net, I've made 6%. Now I know some of you will say, well, you got to minus out your expenses and all that stuff on the real estate property. And that's true. So let's rewind that scenario and do it that way. So the 10% I made, just say that's gross profit, right? Then I have to take out at least 30% in expenses. So that's about 30% of the 10K. So that leaves me 7K. Then I have to take out my borrowing costs, which is the 4%. So net, I made about 3% on that $100,000. Not a huge profit, but I'll take it. But I also will make money because the 4% interest that I have to pay to my lender or the bank is also in most cases going to be, or a portion of it will be, tax deductible. And just say for instance I'm in the 40% tax bracket, I take that 40% and I would times it against my 4% interest rate. So I would be able in most cases to be able to deduct about $1,600 of that $4,000 in interest expense. So I would take that $1,600, I'd add it to my $3,000. That would give me about a $4,600 net return on that $100,000 loan that I invested in real estate. Therefore, none of my cash came out of my pocket. I borrowed all the money from the bank. I paid the bank back their cost to borrow the money, and I still was left with about a $4,600 profit. Well guys, that's how I borrow money in real estate for free. What I do is I just use that business model over and over and over. And you guys know I invest strictly in single family homes. And I rent those homes to individuals. And I get a rental income for doing that. And that has served me well, guys, over the last 20 years. And I borrowed the money for free because I use strategies like good debt, good leverage, and in some cases I do have to use some of my capital for the down payment. But the way I get my capital back from the down payment on the real estate is I simply wait 12 to 24 months and then I refinance that piece of real estate and I take my cash back out of it and I put that cash in a safe place till it's time for me to buy the next property, and I just repeat that process. So for me, my business model is borrowing that money at no cost and being able to create income and wealth along the way while I hold that real estate. Now let's move on to how I borrow money for free in order to move forward and make money in luxury watch sales, the stock market, and my eBay stores. Well, I do the same technique. I go to the bank and I borrow money, but I don't borrow money with the asset being held as collateral like I do in real estate. In real estate, when you borrow money from a bank, the bank will put a mortgage on the real estate, so they'll have first mortgage on that real estate. In case you don't pay them back, they take the real estate. With my other streams of income, I go into the bank and I borrow the money unsecured. And the way I borrow the money unsecured is through a great credit score, good liquidity, and proven income. So I go in and I say to the bank or the credit union, hey, I want to borrow $25,000. They're going to take me through some underwriting, which includes pulling my credit report. They're going to want to see what type of cash on hand that I have, so I'll have to provide them some information on that. And then they'll want to see the type of income level I'm earning to prove that I'm a credit-worthy candidate to be able to borrow money on an unsecured basis and repay it. I do the same thing I do in real estate. I get a fixed rate, and normally that fixed rate is going to be around 4 to 5%. And I take that loan out between 12 and 24 months, but it's unsecured. I take that money, then I go out and I buy assets that will generate income. For instance, I'll take that money and I'll go out and buy luxury watches for inventory that I then turn around and resell online. I also will take that money, and in some cases, I'll buy stock, especially if I believe there's an opportunity to be able to realize a profit on that stock in 12 to 24 months. If I do, I'll go ahead and purchase some stock as well. I also will purchase other items from my eBay store that I know I can take and turn around pretty quickly and start repaying that unsecured loan. I'm not telling you this so you can go out and do this if you're not experienced at it. I'm just simply providing information on what I do that works for me in my business model in order to help me borrow money for free. I would tell you, unsecured borrowing is something that you got to be experienced at. You got to have a certain level of income to be able to repay it. So I would not recommend this to somebody just starting out who really doesn't have a good understanding of how to create money, how to leverage money, how to repay money. I wouldn't recommend that technique, but I use it because I do have a level of experience and I've done it for many years. And it's just a simple way for me to borrow money for free. Now I know I haven't gotten to the free part yet, but let me walk you through that. So I take that unsecured loan, I go buy inventory of luxury watches. Like I said, sometimes I invested in the stock market and I invested in my eBay stores. That product, especially from the luxury watches and the eBay stores, will generate a certain profit. And the profit is going to be generated above what my cost is for the unsecured loan. So if I got to pay 5% for that unsecured loan for 24 months, it'll be an interest-only loan. So the goal is the inventory that I purchase with that $25,000, I have to sell that inventory within 12 to 24 months, and then I have to have a high enough profit margin to be able to pay back the 5% and still make a profit. And over my 20 years of doing this, guys, I do make quite a bit of profit, and it has worked out for me well. Now, in the rare occasion that I get in a position where I got too much inventory and I'm not moving it as fast as I want to, that's where the cash on hand comes in. In that situation, which is very, very rare, I will go in and take my cash on hand and satisfy the loan until I can move through my inventory. That's very rare, but that does happen from time to time. But it doesn't really bother me, because that's the reason why I keep cash on hand at all times, so that I can get myself out of a jam if I need to. And that's what I would tell you guys who are considering that option, borrowing money on an unsecured basis. Please always have cash as your safety net somewhere tucked away to be able to get you out of a situation if you run into one borrowing any kind of money, especially unsecured borrowing. But those are the two ways, guys, that I borrow money at no cost. I'm not saying you'll be able to go out and borrow money at no cost, but what I will tell you is it gives you some techniques you can think about and implement if it's right for you. It's certainly right for me. My business model calls for me being able to borrow money for free. And the way I do that, again, is fixed rate, low cost borrowing. And then I take those monies that I borrow and I put them in assets that are going to generate more income than what it costs me to borrow the money. Plain and simple. That's what I do. And I do that in real estate. I do that in luxury watch sales. I do that in stock market investing. And I do that in my eBay stores. And I'm just telling you guys, if you're going to borrow money, just make sure you borrow money in order to make more money. Now, you guys know I talk a lot about bad debt, good debt. Bad debt is borrowing money and not being able to make any money with the money that you borrow. You go out and buy things that are not asset creating or income creating assets. My thing is if you borrow money the correct way, you leverage yourself the correct way, you can do it for free. Well, guys, I hope this video helped you guys understand how I go out and borrow money at no cost to me. And I hope you will take some of this information and think about it and then apply it to your business model if it makes sense. Again, sometimes it doesn't make sense for people to do that, especially if they don't have the experience or expertise level in order to be able to pull all of it off. I can do that because I've been doing it for over 20 years and I have a background in financial services. I was a banker for 25 years, so I know how the system works. I understand how to go borrow money. I understand what they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for good credit. They're going to be looking for cash on hand, and they're going to be looking for your ability to repay them through income. So the likelihood of you walking in there not with those three things in tow or in good standing, the likelihood of you walking out of that bank with a loan is not very good. So you're going to need a combination of those three things, or if not all of those three things, in order to be a good, viable lending candidate. And so work on those things. If you got bad credit, if your income level is down, if you don't have any cash, work on those things first as you build your way up to being able to go borrow money at no cost. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, guys, please consider subscribing, share the video, and give me a thumbs up. It helps the channel and it helps me too. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace. If you want 2 free stocks, Webull is going to give you 2 free stocks when you open a new Webull brokerage account. Put at least 1 penny in that new account. They're going to give you 2 free stocks valued up to $3,300. There's a link in the description box of this video. Guys, go get that free stock and go get that free money. Today's video is sponsored by my company, RF Financial Consulting. And in my company, I work with individuals just like you through financial mentoring and coaching sessions. And in those 1-hour sessions, we talk about strategies to help you get to your financial freedom, whether it be through real estate investing, stock market investing, creating additional streams of income, credit card arbitrage, or starting and growing a business.
If that's something that you might be interested in, there's an email address in the description box of the video. Send me an email and let's discuss if I'm the right fit for you.